Have a nice day, children. From Self Learning Tool channel. Today we are going to discuss about physical landscape of Sri Lanka under geography, grade 9. All of you are welcome from all over the island, especially those who are doing bilingual. To Self Learning Tool, hereafter you will be able to share our knowledge through this channel in YouTube. Today I hope to discuss with you the physical landscape of Sri Lanka, Unit 2, Grade 9, Geography. When we come to physical landscape of Sri Lanka, under that we will have to understand the type of landscapes in Sri Lanka and what are the topographical features can be found in them. As far as you know, Sri Lanka is a small island. Though Sri Lanka is a small island, it is replete with beautiful landscape. You know, the land area of Sri Lanka is 65,610 square kilometers. When you consider about that, you see that Sri Lanka is a small island. Though Sri Lanka is a small island, as far as now you know, it is replete. You know, replete means full of beautiful landscape. These landscapes consist of mountains, plains, river valleys, waterfalls. Then when you go to coastal side, beaches, and a number of coastal features or topographical features created by the sea and various other natural vegetation and man-made landscape also, like tanks, building, cities, settlements, etc. Under this unit we are going to discuss about them. I think now you have a certain idea about the physical landscape of Sri Lanka. Before going to the physical landscape of Sri Lanka, it can be divided into main two parts. One is the natural physical landscape, or simply we call physical landscape. Other one is the human landscape or cultural landscape, or another term is man-made landscape. Tanks, buildings, settlements, croplands, roads, all are coming under that. When we come to the physical landscape of Sri Lanka, first thing we will have discussed is the relief. As far as you know, relief in Sinhala, the Bhuvishamatawe. It suggests that how the land is set. When you go here and there, you find that the land is not equal. The relief of one area is different to another area. Anyway, the relief refers to how the land is set or how the surface of the earth can be seen. It is closely connected to the landscape. So when we take the relief map of Sri Lanka, the relief map of Sri Lanka can be divided into main three parts or divisions. They are coastal plain. The coastal plain is a simple relief area. It runs around the earth, around the island, like a narrow belt. Then intermediate plain. The intermediate plain rises from coastal plain and it margins to the central mountains. The elevation in the intermediate plain is from 30 meters to 300 meters. Then we find the central mountains. All the lands located above 300 meters from the sea level belong to central mountain. Then it is clear the relief map or relief of Sri Lanka can be divided into main three divisions. One is coastal plain, the land area located between 0 to 30 meters above sea level. Usually it is located close to the sea as outer border, limits or margins to the coast or the sea. It is called coastal plain. Intermediate means in between. The elevation of the lands located in intermediate plain rises from 30 meters to 300 meters. It is located between coastal plain and central mountains. When you next, you will understand it when you observe the map showing these relief zones of Sri Lanka. The central mountains, it is located towards the center of the island. Therefore, it is called central, as it is full of the lands in higher elevation above 300 meters. It is called the hilly area or mountain or mountainous area. Therefore, geographers have called it central mountains. When you focus your attention to this map, you can see that the coastal plain runs around the island like a narrow belt. It is somewhat wider over the north, and when you come to the southern part, it is narrower. Anyway, this is the part. Their elevation is from 0 to 0 contour line is this outer line. 30 meters contour line is this one. The elevation is from 0 to 30 meters. That is coastal plain of Sri Lanka. Second one, you can see it clearly. It is in pink color. This area is located between coastal plain and the central hills. Here it is very wide over the northern part of Sri Lanka. Here main areas like Anuradhapura, Polonnaru, that areas are also located there. Then it also very narrow and scattered, broken. Here it is not running like continuous area. Over this northwestern region, here the Ratnapura area there, you find that in the Ratnapura area, the coastal plain runs into the land. Now you can understand why the Ratnapura is always flooded. Because Ratnapura is located close to the central hills. That area is located in the coastal plain. That means the land area is very low. The other one is central hills. It is in brown color. You can see the shape of the central hills. This line is the 300 meters contour line. You can understand how it runs, marking the land area belong to the central hills. Our central hills having a lot of topographical features or relief features. Therefore, studying central hills is somewhat complex because it is full of relief features like mountain ranges, plateaus, valleys, river valleys, gaps, passes, waterfalls, etc. Now, I think you have the good understanding about the major relief zones of Sri Lanka. Again, you recollect. First one is coastal plain. It is located as a narrow belt around the island. When it goes to the northern part of Sri Lanka, somewhat wider. And when it comes to the southern part of Sri Lanka, it becomes narrower. Next one we discuss about intermediate plain. It is also marked and printed here, intermediate plain. Third one is central hills. After understanding that one, we go to discuss the main relief features. Later, the climate and other human activities associated with these three relief zones. Next, we come to coastal plain. Now you know that coastal plain runs like a narrow lowland belt around the island. It is given here in the slide, you see that, you read it. The land area from sea level up to 30 meters contour line along the coastal belt is known as coastal plain. The land area from the sea level, because the zero contour line, it rises up to 30 meters. The land area between 0 to 30 meters belong to the coastal plain. As outer border margins to the coast or sea, it is called coastal plain. It is called plain because it is a mainly flat land, except the several sea cliff like that. Usually it is a flat land. As outside it margins or borders to the sea, this land area mostly possesses, can be seen, possesses topographical features formed by the sea waves and tides. Because you know that due to the facing millions and millions of years to the sea, waves and the tides, a number of topographical features have been created by the influence of the sea waves and tides. The coastal plains runs like a narrow belt around the island. Now you know it, I explained it earlier. It becomes very narrow, about 3 kilometers in the south, but it spreads wide, about 32 kilometers in the north of the island. Now you possess that idea, knowledge. Therefore, no need of waiting there. Next, we go to the other point. The following physical features are more prominent. Prominent means chief, main, in Sinhala Pradhan. In the coastal plain, there are marshes. Now you keep in mind marshes, bay, lagoon, river mouth, heads or points, sand dunes, sand sheets, islands, and sea cliff. And river features. River features means some features which are connected to the rivers or which can be seen with rivers, like braided rivers, deltas, and meanders, etc. So when you see it on the screen, you also read them, the following physical features, then you can understand, you can keep them in your mind easily. Now you know that the followings are the prominent or principal or main topographical features can be found in the coastal plain. Again you read marshes, bay, lagoon, river mouth, heads or points, sand dunes, sand sheets, islands, and sea cliff. If you have the difficult words, marshes, bay, marshes are the wetlands. Lagoons also, another topographical feature, can be found along the coast. River mouth, you know that, where a river flows into the sea. In Sinhala we call Gammoy. Lagoon, in Sinhala we call Kalapur. Bay, In Sinhala we call bokka. Marshes, wagurubi. Wetlands is another term can be used to introduce them. Heads or points, tudu. Sand dunes, වැලිකඳු, sand shades, වැලිතල. Then islands, dupa, and sea cliff, මුහුදු දඹ. And river features, වගේම ගංගා ලක්ෂණ, like braided rivers, deltas, and meanders. The other features can be seen special associated with the coastal belt in the coastal plain. Now we go to discuss about marshes. What are they? How you understand them? How you identify them? When you read this point, you can get a certain idea about that one we discussed. Marshes are found in the coastal plain associated with rivers. You know that they are wetlands. They are muddy. Therefore, these places cannot be utilized for the human activities. Marshes are formed when the sediments brought by the rivers are deposited as the sandbanks blocking the estuaries. You know that rivers, they bring a lot of sediments, sands, muddy parts, like that. These small pieces of rocks collected by the rivers, they are deposited just before flowing into the sea. Due to that one, what will happen? The river mouths are blocked, especially when rivers flow into the estuary. Estuary කියලා කියන්නේ කලපුවක් වගේ ලක්ෂණයක්. It is also lagoon-like feature. But there is a small difference between the estuaries and lagoons. Estuary is a water body located close to the sea with a small outlet to the sea. The special feature there is some rivers flow into it. Therefore, estuaries are filled with the sediments collected by the rivers. So when these sediments are collected over a longer period, what will happen? The estuaries become shallower and shallower, and they turn into marshlands. Apart from that one, there are some lowlands located close to the sea with poor drainage. Actually, they are lowlands, and these lands are with poor drainage. You know, drainage means jala wahana in Sinhala, meaning drainage, removal of water from one place to another place. Due to this poor drainage, what will happen? The water is locked there over a longer period, and they become muddy lands. Muddy lands are also very important because later, simply in geography, these muddy lands are known as marshes or marshlands. And they are important because during the flood seasons or flooding, the additional water or flood water is kept or stored in these marshes. Therefore, damage to the people or the environment is low when the marshes are available. That is also you keep in mind. So due to this poor drainage, the water is locked. Locked means it is kept over a longer period, and wetlands are formed. That is how the wetlands are created. So several marshes or marshlands can be found in Sri Lanka. Muthurajavela is the major one. Boondala, Kalamatiya, Somavatiya, Anavilundava, and Kiralakali. They are the other places where marshlands can be found. So now you take a map of Sri Lanka and you mark them. And if you have a chance, you go to Muthurajavela. It's a very good place to observe the marshlands, as well as another one is coming behind. It's a mangrove. They have organized a family trip to Muthurajavela and enjoy the natural beauty can be found there. This is the natural vegetation can be found in marshlands. They are called mangroves. Mangroves is a special type of natural vegetation that is used to grow resisting the salinity level of the water. Salinity level, lavana pramana. To collect the water, fresh water, you know that they also need the fresh water. Their root system having a special changes, different types of roots are. Their roots are not in the ground, they are well above the water. Therefore, you can understand how they collect the fresh water during the rainy season and when the salinity level of the water is going down. Then B. In Sinhala, this topographical feature is known as Bokka. Very important topographical feature for the human activities from the past. Now you find that how it is physically formed. A bay is a coastal feature where sea indents or sea eats into the land with wider outlet. Outlet means another term, simple term you can use, the mouth. Coastal belt of Sri Lanka is full of such bays, and most of them are used in building harbors. That is why I mentioned earlier, bays are very important for the human activities, or another term, economic activities that can be seen in the coastal area or coastal plain in Sri Lanka. Such bays can be found in Kodiyar Bay, is a very good example, Arugam Bay, Veligama Bay, and Trincomalee Kodiyar altogether. They are the most important bays located in Sri Lanka. When you come to this photo, you can see that how the bay is seen in the landscape. You find that the shape, it's a bow shape, is there. The water is saved here. That is why it can be used for the building harbors, in fishing industry, fishing harbors, anchor ports, as well as people have a bath there. As I mentioned, the water is safety. The waves, the rough waves are not coming there. Therefore, here you find that even in this picture, rafting, sea surfing, like that various water games are also conducted here in bays. Apart from that one, people also can have a bath, sea bath in the bays because it is having a wide sandy beach. Therefore, it is very good for the human activities. Next, we come to lagoon. It is also another important coastal feature. Let me see how the lagoons are formed and how you identify them. Lagoon is a brackish water body. You know, brackish water means the water mixing with salt water and fresh water together. We call brackish water. In Sinhala, we call Halapu Jala, Kiul Jala. Located along the coast, separated from the sea either by sandbanks or coral reef. Usually, we find that lagoons are located behind coral reefs. Therefore, the separation between the sea and the lagoon is narrow. Sometimes they are seen like connecting the sea by a narrow belt of water or narrow channel of water during the rainy season or when the flood occurs. But usually lagoons are not connected, totally connected or continuously connected to the sea. It is connected seasonally with the flooding. If it is connected continuously to the sea, it becomes a, not lagoon, estuary. It becomes an estuary. Therefore, it is a brackish water body or lake located very close to the sea, separated by narrow sandbank or coral reef. A large number of lagoons can be found in Sri Lanka also. They are also very important for the coastal human activities or fishing industries. In lagoons separate, fishing activities can be seen conducted by the people living close to the lagoons. The most famous lagoons found in Sri Lanka are Jaffna, Nigambu, Batiklo, and Chilam. When you take the map of Sri Lanka, you can find them. And after this lesson, you take your atlas book and you find the location of them and their shape also you study. Then how it is visible in the landscape. There you find that this narrow, this side you see the lagoon is there. Here it is separated by a narrow sandbank. Here the sea. This part is the lagoon. Here the land is the lagoon. Then you can understand how it is visible in the landscape. Then points or headlands. Another important topographical feature can be found in the coastal plain. The land area that protrudes or juts out, coming out. Protrudes mean that one, Nirayano, that's a singular term, protrudes. You follow the meaning of that one, you take it. It is needed to explain the points or headlands. The land area that protrudes towards the sea is called point or head. Usually this land is a hard rocky one because why they protrude into the sea as they resist the erosion, sea erosion. The soft rock areas located either side of them might have eroded. Therefore, this hard, resistant rock land must be pointing towards the sea, forming points and headlands. Then you find that in Sri Lanka, we can find several examples. Oh, another way. Several heads and points can be found in Sri Lanka. Dondra Head, very famous. You might have been there. Foul Point, Devil's Point, Point Pedro, another one. It is in the northern part, northern tip. Some points can be found in Sri Lanka. These points and head also you take a map and you mark them and name them, you keep. It is needed to identify the location of points and heads in Sri Lanka. Then usually you find that these lighthouses and these things are located over there. This is a very good example. There you find that how this rocky land area is protruding into the sea. Protrude. This is a protrudes in singular Nirayana. So these are also can be used to build such features like lighthouses there in Sri Lanka also. These kind of features can be found very well. And that is also another coastal feature you see when you come to the coastal plain. Next one, island. Island is a small piece of land completely surrounded by water. I am not going to explain it again and again because you have learned about islands in earlier lessons as well as in earlier grades. Sri Lanka itself is an island. When you look at the map, you can see that Sri Lanka is located in the Indian Ocean, or Sri Lanka is surrounded by Indian Ocean. There was small islands, large in number, can be seen located in the northern part of Sri Lanka close to Jaffna Peninsula. Therefore, when you take the map of Sri Lanka, you can see them Nainathiew, Karathiw, Punkuduthiew, like that. Large number of small islands can be seen located there. And when you go around the island also, here and there, small islands can be seen, again located southern part, eastern part, you can see them. Then Sea Cliff. Because I mentioned earlier Sea Cliff is a small highland. It is located on the coast because it is a cliff, one side having a steep slope. That steep slope can Tadabeuma. It is facing the sea. The best example can be found when you go to Trincomalee. You can see a steep slope. Commonly it is known as Lovers Lake, Corneshwar. And when you go to southern part, again Rumasala. These kinds of sea cliffs can be found. That is also a very beautiful place. Therefore, people go to see enjoy the natural beauty associated with them. The Lovers Lake in Trincomalee, Rumasala. As I mentioned earlier, they can be taken as example. This is Trincomalee, Corneshwaram. Then you can see the nature of that one. It's so usually rocky. Then island. Then you can remember how we explain the island, the small piece of land surrounded by water or sea. Then another one we have selected, that is delta. Actually, it is a river feature. The deltas are formed over the river mouth. River mouth means place where a river flows into the sea. In Sinhala, that is called Gangmoya. Delta is a landform located there mainly due to the deposit of river lord or sediments collected by the river. When you read this point, you can understand how delta gets formed. The landform that is known as delta is formed due to the deposition, means tampat, of sediments. Now you know sediments because earlier at several places we found that word sediments. That means the small pieces of rocks, sands, muds, and other things collected by a river. Common term is a river lord. Sediments or river lord carried by the river at the river mouth. They are deposited because when river gets closer to the sea, the speed of the river becomes very low as well as the river lord becomes very high. Therefore, river starts depositing them at the river bed and over the river banks like that. When sediments are deposited, the river itself divided into the several channels. You know, several channels means river flowing, now deposited. When depositing over and over, river is divided into several channels. Now you know that river collects water from the distributaries, tributaries. Here they are called tributaries. There we call channels or distributaries. Because of this division of the river into several channels or distributaries, the deposited part are seen like a triangle. That is why it is called delta. Since the sediment deposits take the triangle shape. Triangle shape, you know that in Greek alphabet, It is the letter D, and we pronounce it as delta. Therefore, that name is applied to introduce the land form also. Therefore, delta can be seen found in the river mouth, especially. Now you will have to keep in mind delta is a river feature. Usually it is formed at the river mouth, mainly due to the deposit of river load or sediments carried by the river over a longer period. Deltas can be found in the river mouths like Mahaveli, Khana, in Sri Lanka, but they are very famous all over the world. When you look at this picture, this diagram, you can understand how they are formed and how the main river is divided into a number of channels or distributaries. This is the sea area, and they are the delta feature. They also can be seen associated in the coastal plain in Sri Lanka as well as in other countries also. This aerial picture shows it clearly. Now you can understand the shape of the delta as well as how this feature is seen in the coastal landscape. Then another one is very beautiful one, very attractive one. Actually, it is towards attraction. So blowholes. Blowhole or spouting horn. This is called a spouting horn because when it is active, it creates a certain sound, horn sound. Therefore, it is called horn, is an attractive landform located in the coastal plain. It is also located next to the sea. There, water can be seen splashing through it with a whistling sound. Several blowholes can be seen in Sri Lanka, especially southern coastal area. In Single, it is called the Hummani. And during certain periods, especially when the monsoon is active, these blowholes can be seen in action or fully active. This picture shows how the water is splashing through a blowholes. Then other thing you will have to keep in mind, don't go closer it because it is dangerous. It is activated due to the pressure of the waves or the sea. Therefore, it goes back due to the creation of the vacuum close to it. The nearby things are sucked into that hole. If the people are falling into that one, it is so dangerous. Therefore, if you go there to see that, don't get closer because it is so dangerous. That is also you'll have to keep in mind. With the blowholes for today lesson part, we come to an end. In the part 2, we are going to discuss about the physical features or topographical features can be found in the intermediate plain as well as central hills. Therefore, with the idea connecting or hoping to connect you in the part 2 video lesson or online lesson. Today we stop. If you have any problem, you can send them to the WhatsApp group self-learning tool. Then the next time when we come to that one, we can discuss them. And later I can have a separate video clip to explain them. Thank you.